right, all right. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. So, good morning, everyone. I know agents being agents trickle in. So, let's go ahead and get started. We are continuing on the topic of for sale by owners. We're going to go ahead and continue to move on. Give me one quick second, please. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. We are talking about for sale by owners. For those of you guys that are joining us over on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, we're going to encourage you to come join us over here on Zoom as I'm going to be sharing script today. So we were talking about creating focal points. So let me start with that a little bit, and then we'll move over to the mindset of a for sale by owner. Now, as far as focal points, okay, as we mentioned, why do we create them? Because what we want to do is we want to create a sense of accountability. And the accountability we want to have is today we pull up for sale by owners and basically there's nothing. There's no for sale by owners. However, tomorrow we pull up for sale by owners, and in the pulling up of the for sale by owners, there is one property that shows up and it happens to be in our top three zip codes. What do we do with it? What we're going to do is we're going to have the integrity and we're going to go knock on that door. That's just something that we're going to continue to do and just continue to move forward. Then what we then do is as we continue in our progress in the chase of for sale by owners is we're going to go over to the next business day. If you work on Saturday or if you work on Monday, you're going to pull up those for sale by owners. The second focal point is going to be that of your top three cities. Okay. And why do we have them separated? The reason we have them separated is all subject to the fluctuation of the inventory of for sale by owners. Okay. There is a market where there's going to be 2, 3, 4 for sale by owners per day. Okay, we also talked about creating a system. And in this, creating the system that we're talking about is you have to follow up with the for sale by owners on a weekly basis. Okay. So that's what you want to create focal points. And in that focal point, number one, if there isn't a lot of, or if there is a lot of inventory, you're getting 10, 12, 15 for sale by owners a week. And then over the course of like 10 weeks, you're trying to follow up with 100 people. It's a lot. So that's why we want to create a sense of separation. If it's a little bit of a slower market, and in some markets there isn't a whole lot of for sale by owners, there's only one, two, or maybe three that are showing up a week. And I get this from clients all the time. Hey, coach, yeah, there's just not a lot of for sale by owners. And I get that. But again, we have to remember we're creating a system where we're following up with these people over the course of 8, 10, 12, 15 weeks. So just using the number of 10 weeks, and let's just say even we have 2 people a week, that's 20 people you're following up on. Okay, so there is no, there's no FSBOs in my market. It might be light, it might be, very slim pickings. You might have to expand even as far as with what you're going after, but you want to make sure that you're creating these focal points. Number two, we talked about the mindset of a for sale by owner. Now, this is important because a lot of times what agents will do wrong. What agents will do wrong is they call the for sale by owner that very first time, and they call them on either week one or week two when it's this know-it-all for sale by owner. And what ends up happening is that agent ends up getting discouraged. Well, a good friend of mine says they go after for sale by owners. A coach of mine said that, FSBOs is a great source. And I've been calling FSBOs now for the last 6 months, a year, 2 years, but you're doing it wrong. Going into the mindset, let's talk a little bit about that. As I mentioned yesterday, that very first week, and I'm going to go a little bit rapid fire because I want to move on to the next points that I want to talk about today. That first week we talked about it's this know-it-all. Second week, hey, look, I told you, Robert, I'm annoyed. Okay, I know what I'm doing. That third week is, look, I'm sure I got this. Fourth week is, I think I got this. And then that fifth week is, I hope I got this. That sixth week is, I don't know if I have this. And in that seventh week, they start to go into the direction of, I don't really know what to do at this point. Maybe I should start looking for a realtor. And in that eighth week, it's the, okay, I give up. Who should I be calling? Now, creating the system, here it is. Okay, for those of you guys that are tuning in, here's the system. I want you to get a 3-ring binder. And in this 3-ring binder, you're going to have a couple of different tabs. And in the tabs, give me 1 second. Actually, I pulled it off my desk. And in the tabs, okay, you're going to have basically 1 through whatever, 15. Okay, so this is a 3-ring binder. And in this 3-ring binder, there are those tabs, and I'll explain in just a little bit as to what they represent. And in the back section, it's very parallel to the lead follow-up book. It's going to be January through December. Let me break it down now. Okay, this is how this works. So you go through, you call for sale by owner today. I'm using the script. Mr. and Mrs. For sale by owner. Hi, this is Robert. I'm a local realtor. I help a lot of for sale by owners. And I was wondering, when you sell this home, where you guys planning on moving to? It's none of your business. All right, well, I guess not. But it's in my top 3 zip codes or my top 3 cities. I'm going to go later on today, 11:30, 12 o'clock, go and knock on the door. Hi there, my name is Robert. I'm a local realtor. And reason I'm stopping by is I help a lot of for sale by owners. I'm curious, when you sell this home, where are you guys planning on moving to next? Well, we're going to be moving over to San Diego. Okay. Now, why are they giving me information the second time around versus the first time around? Okay. It's very common for people to get just a little bit more courageous when it's over the phone. It's very common. So they lower their guard down a little bit when we go and visit them. And when we go and visit them, now we're in front of them, they're going to be a little bit evasive. They're still going to be standoffish. It's not like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's magic because I knocked on a door. It doesn't work that way. But I will get another question 2 or 5 that gets answered. And as I go through, I ask a question, I ask 2, I ask 3, and then on 4, they go, hey, I really appreciate you coming by, but yeah, we're not really looking to hire a realtor. I mean, if you got a buyer, feel free, bring them by. Okay. We'll get you 2%. You get us a good offer. We might even consider paying you 2.5%. Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that person's profile. I'm going to put it on what I call as a for sale by owner profile sheet. FSBO profile sheet. Send me a DM. I'll send you a copy. Okay. Coach, you talked about that FSBO profile sheet. Can you send it to me? Yeah, I will. Okay. That's what I do. What's on that FSBO profile sheet? Well, there's basically 2 sides of it. Side 1 is basically the questions that we're supposed to be asking, the for sale by owner script. On the back side of it is the pre-qualification questions. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to fill in the blank. And what makes it different from just simply going through and having the questions is here, the margins. And these are the topics, which we're going to go into the depthness a little bit more today. But this profile sheet, let's focus on that first. This profile sheet, going back to the scenario, I'm going to be calling the FSBO next week. What's the most ideal day to call FSBOs and follow up with if you're going to follow up with them? Monday. Okay. Most people are going to sit there and say, yes, let's call them Monday. Okay. Or they're going to sit there and say, hey, let's call them Friday. What I've identified in the most top realtors that have been very, very successful, and not to correct anybody, there's no right or wrong. There's just what I feel as if those gooder. And for me, the gooder day is on Tuesday. Here's why. Okay. You go through, you talk to a for sale by owner. Let's say, for example, I talked to a for sale by owner today, and the for sale by owner sits there and says, hey, look, buddy, I appreciate you coming by. We've been on the market for 3 weeks. We're good to go. We have an open house this weekend. As a matter of fact, on Sunday, we have an agent that's going to be hosting it for us. So we really appreciate it. If you want, you're welcome to check back with me next week. What ends up happening on Saturday? Buyer comes through, looks at the house and says, oh my gosh, we love this house. We'd love the opportunity to buy this house from you, Mr. Mrs. For sale by owner. I just got to get my finances in order. Let me talk to my lender. So then that buyer goes and talks to the lender, and the FSBO is excited. Yeah, I got somebody on the line. Sunday comes around. The buyer is still not qualified yet, still has to provide paperwork, but the buyer's eager, the seller is eager. And like, yeah, you know what? I'm still trying to get this information. I'm still trying to get everything squared away with my lender. But yeah, I'm not there yet. Bear with me. Then finally, the lender gets back to this buyer on Sunday afternoon and says, hey, your payment's going to be $7,600. What? The mortgage calculator said it was going to be only $4,600. Right? And in that, what ends up happening, the buyer gets discouraged. No way, honey. I mean, we love the house, but there's absolutely no way. I mean, yes, I just got that pay raise, but yeah, that's like double with what we're doing now. No way possible. FSBO, hey, what's up, guys? We doing this or not? Yeah. We're just trying to get things situated. And of course, the buyer, what do? They end up sleeping on it. They wake up and they're like, no way we're going to do this. It's just way too much. But what does a for sale by owner think? Oh, yeah, we got a buyer. And when I call, which I used to, on Mondays, I'd give them a call. Mr. Mrs. For Sale by Owner. Hey, this is Robert. You asked me to call you back. How did your open house go? How'd everything go? Oh, you got a buyer. That's awesome. That's great. Where are they at in the process? Did they already submit an offer? Did you guys already go through the whole thing? Oh, the buyer's getting themselves qualified and doing the final touches. Okay, good. Did you guys already agree on terms or anything from that perspective? No, no, no. But that's just kind of, besides the point. But what is a FSBO doing all day Monday? Sitting there. Hey, what's up? Are we doing this or not? Hello? Hey, I texted you. What's going on? Are we going to do this or not? But what did I do? I followed up the way that I'm supposed to on Monday as an example. And on that Monday morning, the FSBOs now was in the morning at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning was like, hey, I got a buyer. Well, by the time it gets to 10, 12, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, is like, I don't know what's going on. This guy's kind of like giving me the runarounds. So what does Robert do? Robert prefers to call on Tuesday because on that Tuesday morning, that FSBO wakes up and that FSBO goes, well, I guess that buyer's not going to come through. I cashed that for sale by owner on the rebound. Okay. So, and this is a very common thing that I've worked along with a lot of my most successful for sale by owner realtor friends and partners, so on and so forth. Okay. So it is very, very common. Some of my colleagues that we've, gone after, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus for sale by owners a year, they would call 2 times a week. Okay. Which I never did. But if you want to, have at it. I would always call on Tuesdays like clockwork. Tuesday was my FSBO day. Okay. So in that, going back to the profile sheet, I'm now going to call them every Tuesday, every Tuesday, every Tuesday, every Tuesday. On average, as we talked about, it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks for a for sale by owner to be ripe. Well, people ask me, but hey, coach, well, what if I just wait until that sixth, seventh, or eighth week? Sure, you can. You can do that. Okay. And they might be pretty discouraged by that point in time. And, they'd be open to probably a conversation. Here's the problem. While you've called them once or twice over the course of 2 months, I've called them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11 times. Who's built more rapport? See what I'm getting at? Okay. So I'm going to break down a little bit more about what we talk about on Tuesdays because I know that that's of importance. But is there any questions that anybody has, whether you're on YouTube, of course, Instagram and or Facebook, and then hopefully we get no surprises today. So
I have a question.
go, Shelly.
I heard someone talking about focusing just on one lead source and like going all in, say like on expireds or for sale by owners versus what you're recommending doing all of them. So what is your thought on that?
Well, we've all heard the term of don't put all of your eggs in one basket, and there's a reason for that saying. Okay, we have to have diversification. Every single last. I don't know of anybody that I've ever coached, nor has put in a panel that does a million plus or 100 deals plus that goes after just one source. Think about that. Okay, I'm a smart dude, but I'm not the smartest dude. And all I do is see, okay, that person, does this many transactions, does this activity. That person, this many transactions, does this activities. So I look for the commonalities. And one of the commonalities, Shelly, in regards to that, is they're going to be between 4 to 6 sources. Okay, so right around 4 to 6 sources is the very, very common for an agent to do about 100 deals a year. Okay, doesn't mean we have to do 100 deals a year, just as
Do
an
you think
example.
it might be because like were they talking about maybe is there a benefit to say picking a niche and doing like sphere of influence and then all of probate and getting really good at probate or all of expired until you're like actually taking expired listings and then moving on, or you think it's good to just gloss over them all
Well,
in the same week?
I'll give you an example. Yeah, so I'll highlight and lowlight a coaching client of mine, and he doesn't mind that I talk about this, Mr. Scott Baker, who's out of Ohio. And Scott, when we started coaching, he was doing around pretty good producer, around 40 deals. And of the 40 deals, he's kind of talking about with what you're referencing to. Of the 42, 43 deals, he was doing about 35, 36 for sale by owners, and that's all he did. Okay. Which is awesome, which is amazing. Absolutely killing it. Here's the problem though. This was probably about 10 years ago. And as we all know, and as we followed the market, what ended up happening with the FSBO market, it dried up. Okay. It almost nearly went non extinct, in that window. So his business actually went 42, 43 down to the 30s. What did we do? Scott, look, dude, you got to stop beating this thing up. You got to start working your database. We got to get you some other sources. We got to get you to that third, fourth, and fifth source. Anyways, he eventually ended up getting to right around 87, 88 transactions, and he did that with 5 different sources. Okay. So sure, you can in theory, but the majority of us don't have year 2, 3, or 4 to invest on one source, another year 2 or 3 to invest. So, I mean, if you're 21 or 22, sure, why not have at it? Become an absolute master in that one. It's not my approach. What I would prefer everyone to do is identify 4 sources. And here's a common thing. I'm going to be working with a new coaching client today. Okay, and as we identified in his business plan, this is very, very common. His goal is to do 20 transactions. He's done around 12 to 13. That's kind of with where he's at. Okay. His goal is to do 100 deals, become a millionaire. And I'm hoping he is one of my next millionaires. Okay. Which he wouldn't be, my first, second, fifth, or 20th. Okay. Now, with him, this is where his 12 businesses, 12 deals have come from in the past. 10 of them have come from his database. 2 of them came from open houses. And that's it. What's the goal, though? As we're breaking this down, the goal is to get to 20. But here's what happens. Of the 10, that's now going to become ideally 12. Of the 2 open houses will become 4. Well, that's 16 deals. Okay. Now we're going to find that third source. And that third source could only be 1 or 2, maybe 3 deals. And in that 4 source, that can also be another 1, 2, or 3 deals. But that's our first full year of coaching. Then in the second year of coaching, this is very common. We get to right around 18, 20, 22 deals in that first year. He'll very likely end up around 30, 35 deals in the second year of coaching. And that 12 deals in database will become 18 deals in database. What is the 4 open house deals will probably become 7 or 8. What is the 1 or 2 deals in the example expires, I don't know what it is going to become 3 or 4. What is going to be that 4 source, 1 or 2 will also become 3 or 4. And then there'll be a 5th source that'll be introduced in there, probably some version of a niche, whether that's going to be divorce, probate, anything from that direction. And then the evolution, which I don't want to bore you guys to death. All I'm doing is adding 10, 20% to this source, 10, 20% of this source, 10, 20% of this source, 10, 20%. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this source just blows up. Okay. I've had clients where they're going after example probates and they do, 1 deal in 2 years, and all of a sudden, bam, they get 8. Okay. Give you another example. Guy shows up every once in a while. Okay. Mr. Sean Brown, who shows up every once in a while. No for sale by owners in his first 4 years of business. We've been working together for 1 year, and this year alone, he's now done 4 FSBOs. He's probably ended about 7 or 8. Where last year, what were the results? 0. And that's common. Okay. So that's why we want to have diversification. So I think you typed in a question also. Would webinars and Facebook add people to Facebook add people be sources? Sure, you can. That's a little bit of a passive direction. But the answer to your question is yes. You can do webinars. You can do Facebook ads. The only thing I ever ask about when people are paying for business is you have to use basically money management. What is money management? You want to be able to allocate a percentage of money towards those expenses. Give you an example. An agent does $100,000 of business. They've allocated going into the year that they're going to use 5% and put it aside. So that's a $5,000 budget for that next year. That's not a lot of money. That's like $400. Well, all of a sudden they have that great month and they close $40,000. Do they go and blow 5, 10, or 15,000 of it? No, you got to stick to your budget. Okay. So the answer to the question is yes, it is a source, but just make sure you go after it wisely. And the reason I like to coach from this direction is especially when I'm working with brand new clients and they did like 2 deals last year and they're trying to get to like 15 or 20, but they don't have any income. How do I sit there and explain to them, yes, you need to invest, go buy a Zillow account, go do Facebook ads, go do all this other stuff. It can become expensive. Okay. So any other questions we can address? I can address. Go for it. Actually, unmute yourself and then give me your name, please. Hold on. I can read lips, but not everybody can. Let's get you unmuted. Nope, you're still muted. All right, well, type it in if you can't get yourself unmuted. Any other questions? Nope. All right, let's move on. So let's talk about the topics. Okay, And then as far as the topics are concerned, when we call them every Tuesday, we're calling these for sale by owners every Tuesday. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a different conversation. I mean, topic of conversation, sorry. What you don't want to do is, Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner. Hey, it's Robert, the realtor. You and I spoke last week. I just want to check in. How are things going? You guys ready to hire a realtor? No? Hey, I'll check back with you next week. Hey, this is Robert, the realtor. Just wanted to check in with you guys. You guys are now in three weeks. You guys ready to hire a realtor? Nope. Okay, I'll follow up with you. You don't want to do that because there's no value in that. What you want to do is you want to be able to create a menu of topics. These menu of topics, what are things of value that we can bring to them that puts us on a pedestal? Okay. So, items of value. Go ahead, Shelly.
Oh, I was going to say I could teach them how to contact a list broker and purchase a targeted list of people that might be interested in purchasing their home.
You can. I mean, you definitely can. I know that there are some different approaches out there, and I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just not an approach that I've taken. So people out there, what they'll do is they'll sit there and talk about, hey, here's some flyers. Go and knock on 500 doors. Yeah, and then you come back and you follow up. Hey, did you do it? No. Well, hey, that's what I do. And sure, you can kind of, in a sense, take that approach. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a call. So let me role play with you here real quick, Shelly. I'll just give everyone a quick little example with what that looks like. So this is the very first follow-up. Okay, we had a little bit of a conversation, and I'm just going to use the topic. So we're not going to go into too much depth. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly, hi, this is Robert Villanueva, real estate broker. We spoke last week in regards to your property here, and just wanted to check in, seeing how everything is going. Did you guys get a buyer yet?
Oh yeah, I think my neighbor's daughter's sister's cousin is interested.
Nice,
They can
good.
buy the house. They said they were gonna pay all cash.
Okay, cool, awesome. Did you guys actually get a written offer, or is it just something you guys are still negotiating?
No, we're gonna write it up.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, hey, I am curious though, as this buyer comes together, you guys do end up securing it. Who is going to be doing the cross qualification for you and that buyer?
Oh, we're gonna figure it out.
Okay, so right here, 98% of the time they have no clue what I'm talking about. We know what we're talking about. Okay,
Right.
what's cross qualification? I don't know what you're saying. Oh, well, that's one of the services that I provide as a professional real estate agent. I protect my sellers. And what I do is I have my lender be a second set of eyes, and they go and take a look at the buyer's financing. Because I'm sure, Shelly, you would appreciate it knowing up front whether it's going to be a high risk or not, or no risk type of buyer. I'm sure you'd want to know that, wouldn't you? I'm sure the last thing you'd want to do is be told by the lender on day 30, day 45 that, hey, we can't perform. You'd rather be in a position where you know that now. Well, aren't they already going to be working with their lender? Yeah, they have their lender. I get that. I understand. But what we do is we are that second set of eyes. Well, we're good. We already have a buyer. That's perfectly fine. Hey, no worries. I'm super excited about that for you guys. As a matter of fact, you have a realtor that's going to be helping you and wherever. I'm trying to plug in wherever I possibly can. And what I'm going to do in this particular instance is I'm going to say, hey, Shelly, I'm going to text you over my lender's information. Feel free. They don't mind. Give them a call. Have my lender cross qualify to make sure that that buyer is good. Don't worry about it. There's absolutely no obligation whatsoever. Now,
Okay, thank you, Robert.
yeah. Why do I do that? The reason I do that is because I'm trying to provide a service in a sense, because if she does actually have a secured buyer, great, nothing we can do about it. Okay. Or if that buyer fizzles away. But what ends up happening is everyone else is talking about what? All the other realtors are talking about themselves. I'm amazing. I'm great. I'm the number one realtor. I sold this many homes. We're the number one team. My office is this. My office is that. All of this other stuff. What I'm doing is I'm talking about them, their needs, their wants, their desires. Okay. Now on the cross qualification, ideally what would end up happening is Shelly gives the lender a call. Hey, Joe, this is Shelly. I'm a local seller, Robert Villa something or another gave me your number and told me to give you a call, something about a cross qualification, something. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, Robert's actually one of our best realtors. Yeah, we'll take care of that for you. But hey, let me ask you, why aren't you just using Robert? Robert's an amazing realtor. He's probably the best realtor I've ever worked with in my entire career. He's amazing. He's this, he's that. Why don't you use him? So in other words, that lender is talking me up. Did we get that? Then on the third week, and we won't role play this. On that third week, I'm now following up and I'm saying, "Hey, Shelly, it's Robert, the realtor. How are you doing this week?" "Oh, hey, Robert, I'm good. Yeah, that buyer unfortunately didn't come together after talking to the lender. The terms were too high, and I never even got a chance to talk to your lender because they didn't even move forward in the process." Hey, not a problem. As a matter of fact, who are you going to be using for your escrow services when you do end up securing that buyer? Well, I'd love the opportunity. I can go ahead and provide you an escrow company. My point is not to give them just that information. My point is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to separate myself, but I'm also what I'm doing is I'm going to be closing. Okay. This is one of the many benefits of working with me, Shelly. Okay. I know you have plenty of options. I'm sure you've gotten 50, 100, 200 realtors that have called you. However, I'm also sure that in the other 98, 99% of the realtors, all they're talking about is how amazing they are. Shelly, as you can see, I'm a little bit different. What I want to do is I want to be able to provide a service for you and your family. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm going to get paid. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to make sure I get paid under the right circumstances. And the right circumstances is getting you to your next destination and doing it under your terms, not under my terms. Okay. Well, what is it that you do different? Well, that's exactly why we need to get together. Did you want to do that today or do you want to do that tomorrow? So that's what I'm trying to do is what I call as being from that passive aggressive close. Hey, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. But let me show you exactly what I do different. Okay. Or, by the way, as a matter of fact, you're familiar with the techniques that I use. You're not. You're kidding. Let's get together. I'd love the opportunity to do that. Let's go ahead and get together. With today or tomorrow work better? All right. So we got a couple of minutes left. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything that I can actually address? There we go. Shoot away.
Got it working. A lot of people talk about being of value to the FSBO, and you kind of mentioned that with the cross qualification. What else do you do though as value, or do you not do that?
Yeah, every Tuesday. So I have a menu of topics on here, and on the menu of topics, that's what these guys are. That's a little bit blurry, but anyways, that's what these boxes are. So in the different boxes, every Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about different things. Ideally, it's going to be week 1 for me. It's going to be cross qualification. Week 2 is going to be about escrow. Week 3, who's going to be the title company. Week 4 is, are you aware of the fact that 90 whatever 2% of first, well, not 92, throwing percentages out here that I don't even know. X percentage of for sale by owners get sued. Okay, did you know that? One of the reasons is because they don't properly disclose, so on and so forth. Open houses, maybe even offering an open house. Okay, I don't really like to take that approach right out the gate because that's what most cheesy realtors in a sense do. But if it is a listing, $1.2 million property, and it's in a great neighborhood. And I did this actually not too long ago. Lizette and I did this where we're like, hey, look, let me just hold your house open because sure, fine, whatever, you got it all figured out. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to develop a relationship with the other 51.2 to $2 million homeowners. So just trying to get, in a sense, the name out there. So those are some of the things that you can do. Who's going to prepare your disclosures, different things from that perspective. You come up with a list of these topics. Okay. But the answer is yes. Shelly, can you talk about next week about identifying if they are motivated when they are shutting you down? Clarify that just to make sure.
When you call and they're always like, yeah, I got it. Like, I don't need you. Like, they're not. I tend to just say, okay, like he's I don't like his attitude or he's being a jerk or whatever.
Yeah.
When I know it's my communication and I'm responsible for the response. But when I'm not, I'm just getting like, they're like, we've got this. But like, I'm not able to move it forward because they're so like, I've got this, no problem. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. And that's the reason I broke down the mindset. We also have to remember as to where they're at in the process. So as far as that is concerned, you're just going to go into that very first week. I'm going to play the example as a for sale by owner. We're not going to role play, but this is a common response. They'll go in the direction of like, yeah, no, I'm good. I appreciate it. Hey, if you got a buyer, come on by. Okay. And that's common. That they're not rude. They're just kind of like, hey, I'm okay. Don't need it. Second week. Yeah, you guys are calling me a lot. And it's I appreciate the calls, but no, I mean, unless you got a buyer, yeah, we're just not really looking to entertain this. Okay. So we're okay. That's perfectly fine. And then that third week is, look, yeah, I know you're consistent. I get it. I'm sure we got this. We got this figured out. We got your number. We're okay. That fourth week is, Yeah, hey, we really appreciate you being consistent, but right now we're not really looking to hire anybody. That fifth week, um, it's just not coming together. We're probably thinking about a couple of different tactics. We might do something a little bit different. I mean, if you want to do an open house, you guys are welcome to. So their tone starts to soften up, and then that sixth, seventh, eighth week, they start to get in the direction of like, hey, look, we might give it another week, maybe two, maybe another month or two, but we're just not quite ready. And then you start getting to that seventh, eighth week, and they go, hey, we're so glad you called. Yeah, we're probably going to just give it through this weekend, and if we don't get any bites, then we'll start to call some realtors. That's the best I can give you. We can probably set something up for next week, but right now we're not looking to make any sort of commitments, and that's it. Okay, so don't give up. The key is you have to be consistent. Okay, I always want to start on time. I want to finish on time. So I want to make sure that, of course, I am thankful to all of you for being here on time. So with that being said, today, 12 o'clock, I'm going to go Instagram live with Wendy, who's out of South Florida and Miami in specific. So it's basically just going to be a little Q&A that we're going to do. You guys are welcome to come join on Instagram live. Thank you guys for attending. Go take a listing or five, and then I will see you guys on Instagram live today at 12 o'clock. I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later. So make sure you guys tune in today on Instagram Live. That's going to be here on Instagram. So I'll see you guys later today, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard. I'll see you guys soon.